Snacks often look harmless, just a quick bite between meals, a little comfort while watching TV, or something to hold us over until dinner. But here's the truth: most people over 50 don't realize those shiny packages on the shelves can quietly push your blood pressure up, interfere with your medications, and overload your kidneys with sodium and chemicals. Behind the glossy marketing and so-called health claims, there are hidden sodium bombs, chemical additives, and even products that have faced recall warnings. At Healthy Hues Wellness, we're going to pull back the curtain and count down 10 snacks you should think twice about. And we'll start with one that feels like a betrayal because it has been a trusted companion for decades. Coming in at number 10, packaged microwave popcorn. Now I know what you're thinking. Movie night just doesn't feel the same without that bag popping in the microwave, filling the room with that buttery aroma. You tear it open, the steam escapes, your fingers get coated in a warm yellow glow, and the crunch promises nostalgia. But here's the hidden story most people never hear about. For years, some microwave popcorn bags and those so-called buttery flavorings contained chemicals that have been tied to serious health risks. One of them is a flavoring agent called diacetyl. In factories where workers were exposed to high amounts of heated butter flavoring, many developed a severe and irreversible condition called bronchiolitis, obliterans often nicknamed popcorn lung. Imagine showing up to work healthy and over time losing your ability to breathe normally, all because of exposure to a buttery vapor. Occupational health investigators raise the alarm, and the industry has tried to adapt, but the risks haven't disappeared completely. Does that mean eating popcorn at home will automatically scar your lungs? No. But here's where it matters. If you're in a small kitchen, you open that steaming bag and you breathe in the vapors over and over again, especially if you already have asthma, COPD, or reduced lung function, you're taking a gamble. And for older adults whose lungs aren't as resilient, that gamble is bigger than most people realize. But it doesn't stop there. The bags themselves have another layer of risk. Tests and lawsuits in recent years have pointed to something called PFS, polyfluoroalkyl substances, also known as forever chemicals, being present in some microwave popcorn bags and food wrappers. Why the nickname forever chemicals? Because once they're in your body, they don't break down easily, they build up. Studies have linked high levels of PFAS to increased cancer risks and long-term health problems. Seniors, especially those already juggling multiple medications or kidney issues, don't need that extra chemical burden. Think about it. That buttery aroma you thought was comfort. For some, it's followed by a faint chemical tang, maybe a little cough later in the night, or a greasy residue that lingers. And if you're on blood thinners or managing heart conditions, those hidden chemicals and added sodium are just piling onto the weight your body is already carrying. So what's the alternative? If you love popcorn, and let's be honest, many of us do, there's a safer ritual. Skip the pre-packaged microwave bags with artificial flavors and questionable coatings. Instead, air pop your own kernels at home. Add a small pat of real butter or a light mist of olive oil and a pinch of salt. You'll get the same comfort, the same satisfying crunch, but without the invisible baggage that could take a toll on your long-term health. Have you ever noticed that faint chemical smell from a bag of microwave popcorn? Ever wondered why your throat felt a little irritated afterward? That's not nostalgia, that's chemistry, and not the kind you want in your body. Popcorn should be comfort, not a slow deposit of chemicals in your system. If you truly care about your health as you age, air pop your popcorn. It's a simple shift that protects your lungs, your kidneys, and your peace of mind. And that was just number 10. Sliding into number 9, let's talk about flavored potato chips, the loud, crunchy little party in a bag that hides more risk than most people expect. Flavored potato chips are marketed like a tiny celebration in a bag. Bright packaging, bold flavors, the image of a real potato splashed across the label. But for seniors, especially those on blood pressure medications, or following low-sodium diets, that crunch can be more harmful than it seems. One bite and the first salty burst spreads across your tongue. The dusting of seasoning is more than just taste. It's a concentrated mix of salt, chemical flavor enhancers, and sometimes even artificial dyes. And before you know it, your hand goes back for another and then another until the serving size on the package is long forgotten. The trust is broken in two major ways. First, those labels that highlight real potato imagery often mask the fact that most chips are just processed fragments fried in industrial oils. Second, behind the scenes, many large-scale facilities focus on volume, not quality. Oils get reused sometimes over and over, leading to oxidation and the creation of compounds that don't belong in a healthy diet. That stale aftertaste. It's often a sign of oil that's been pushed too far. The math behind it is sobering. According to the American Heart Association, many older adults should limit their sodium intake to between 1,500 and 2 to 300 milligrams a day. A single bowl of flavored chips can eat up a massive portion of that allowance. Pair it with a salty sandwich or a can of soup, and the entire day's sodium limit can vanish before dinner even begins. For people managing hypertension or taking diuretics, that extra sodium doesn't just disappear. It raises blood pressure, leads to fluid retention, and can cause dizziness or swelling in the ankles. This is where awareness becomes power. Extreme flavors and heavily dusted varieties are the worst culprits, so avoiding them is a smart step. Choosing plain or lightly salted chips, or even better, baking your own at home, gives you control over both oil and sodium. That way you can still enjoy the crunch without silently sabotaging your heart and kidney health. Just 1 ounce. A small handful can carry enough sodium to derail the progress of someone carefully following a treatment plan. And here's the bigger picture. Chips are designed for convenience, not freshness. They're made to be eaten mindlessly, often replacing something more nourishing. If you notice your blood pressure creeping up or swelling in your ankles after snack time, that colorful bag in your pantry may be the first place to look. At number 8 on our list, we move from salty crunch to something often mistaken as a wholesome breakfast store-bought muffins. The oversized muffins that sit behind bakery windows or in clear plastic packages promise blueberries bran or fiber-rich goodness. They wear the disguise of health, but once you peel back the wrapper and take a bite, the truth reveals itself. A dense, sugary interior sticks to your fingers, and for many varieties, the sugar content alone can hit 20 to 30 grams per muffin. Calorie counts soar into the hundreds, sometimes equal to or even higher than a glazed donut. For older adults managing diabetes or watching blood sugar levels, that so-called breakfast can act more like a glucose bomb. Nutrition panels from major retailers confirm it. Sugar levels consistently fall in the double digits for most muffins sold at scale. But sugar isn't the only issue. The way these muffins are baked and stored adds another layer of risk. Supermarket bakeries churn out dozens at a time, leaving them on trays for hours or days. If the rotation is poor or storage isn't handled properly, mold growth and bacterial buildup become a real possibility. Inspection reports and shelf life studies highlight these problems, and consumers themselves often report buying muffins that go moldy within days or develop odd textures. Think about the conditions: cracked lids, condensation inside packaging, and trays stacked while still warm. Each of these is an invitation for mold spores to spread. And for older adults with weaker immune systems, eating baked goods that may carry hidden mold or microbial growth is more than unpleasant. It can lead to stomach upset, allergic reactions, or far worse. Flavored chips and store-bought muffins share the same betrayal. They sell an image of joy and health, but deliver risks that most people don't see until the damage is done. Packaged muffins may look like a quick and easy breakfast, but behind the sweetness and soft texture is a hidden cost. Beyond sugar and the risk of spoilage, many of these muffins are loaded with preservatives and emulsifiers like propylene glycol esters, mono and diglycerides, and other stabilizers. These additives aren't illegal and they're allowed in small amounts, but the truth is they still add to the body's chemical burden. For someone already managing daily medications or struggling with kidney clearance, that extra load is not insignificant. Convenience comes with a metabolic price tag. If you are monitoring your weight, your blood glucose, or the strain on your kidneys, that store-bought muffin may not be the innocent choice it seems. Think about it this way. If a muffin carries more than 15 to 20 grams of sugar, it's not breakfast, it's dessert. A practical step is to always read the nutrition label before buying. Choose plain whole grain options when available, or even better, split a muffin with someone else so you cut the sugar hit in half. The smartest move: replace that sugary baked good with plain Greek yogurt topped with fresh fruit. You'll get real nutrients, protein, and fiber without the glucose spike. And when it comes to freshness, don't ignore the signals. If you pick up a bakery item and it looks damp inside the packaging, or it develops a faint yeasty smell after a day, it's not worth the risk. Mold and bacterial growth can develop quickly in bulk-prepared muffins, and older adults with weaker immune systems are especially vulnerable. Trust your senses more than the label. If a muffin leaves a sticky coating on your fingers while boasting about being made with whole grain, believe your hands, not the marketing slogan. What's being sold as breakfast is often nothing more than a pastry dressed up in health claims, carrying a blood sugar bill that your body will have to pay. Now we move to number 7 on our list, and this one looks even more playful on the surface: cheese puffs. Those airy, crunchy curls that promise fun but deliver a dangerous mix of additives and salt. You tear open the bag and suddenly your fingers are coated with a bright orange dust. It smells cheesy, maybe even sweet, like the snack aisle is pretending to serve you dinner. The betrayal here is obvious. The vibrant color that makes these puffs look so fun doesn't come from real cheese. It usually comes from synthetic dyes, like FD&C Yellow No. 6, Red 40, or Yellow 5. These dyes have been debated for decades. Studies have linked them to allergic reactions in sensitive individuals, and some research has even raised concerns about behavioral effects. Health regulators in the United States have recently begun phasing out certain petroleum-based synthetic colors, a sign that the risks are serious enough to warrant change. The numbers don't lie either. A single ounce of cheese puffs, just a small handful, carries about 200 to 270 milligrams of sodium. That's a big chunk of the safe daily limit for older adults who are already salt-sensitive or on blood pressure medication. The powdered seasoning is more than salt, too. It often contains concentrated flavor enhancers, sometimes monosodium glutamate or similar additives, which can worsen fluid retention or trigger mild reactions in certain people. What feels like a light snack can quickly tip the balance, especially when added to the sodium already present in the rest of a day's meals. Behind the bright packaging, the powdered flavoring is manufactured in massive industrial hoppers, and there have even been recalls and supplier problems tied to these flavor powders. It's not alarmism, it's just reality. For seniors with high blood pressure, heart conditions, or those taking diuretics, every handful of neon orange curls is a measurable risk. For anyone with a history of asthma or allergies, the synthetic dyes are yet another exposure your body doesn't need. Cheese puffs may look like a harmless treat, but that orange glow on your fingertips is a concentrated mix of chemicals and salt that your body will have to process. What looks like fun in the bag is often regret once the health effects show up. Bright orange dust on your fingertips might look playful, but color has never guaranteed safety. If you're taking medications that require you to keep an eye on sodium, it's far wiser to skip the neon glow of cheese puffs and reach instead for plain nuts or a bowl of air pop popcorn. The flavor is real, the crunch is satisfying, and your body won't be left dealing with a hidden chemical toll. At number 6 on our list, let's turn to granola bars. Marketed as nature's perfect snack, they come dressed in wholesome pictures of oats and honey, promising steady energy and natural goodness. Bite into one and at first you might believe it. The oats feel hearty, the honey tastes pure. But then comes the sticky texture, the overwhelming sweetness, and the realization that many granola bars are far closer to candy bars than a true source of fiber. Store brands and supermarket varieties often pack in corn syrups, chocolate coatings, and sugar counts high enough to send blood glucose soaring. For older adults managing diabetes or anyone on medications sensitive to glucose shifts, that sugar spike is anything but harmless. The problem goes deeper than sugar. Independent lab tests and consumer watchdog reports have found traces of glyphosate, the active ingredient in some weed killers in oats and oat-based products, including granola bars. These findings have sparked lawsuits, label changes, and warnings from health advocates, all raising doubts about the natural claims splashed across so many packages. For seniors already carrying the weight of multiple medications or reduced kidney clearance, those added chemical exposures create one more layer of stress the body doesn't need. And then there's the issue of production. Granola bars are made on massive bakery lines produced by the thousands and stored in bulk bins before packaging. If the storage is sloppy or rotation is careless, bars can go stale or even develop mold. For people with compromised immune systems, consuming spoiled or contaminated bars could be truly harmful. That bright box promising fiber and whole grains may be hiding a product that functions like candy both in sugar content and in shelf life tricks. The safer move is clear. If the label screams natural but the sugar content matches a cookie, it's time to put it back on the shelf. Instead, opt for real oats prepared at home, a bowl of plain Greek yogurt with fruit, or a simple handful of nuts. These swaps deliver nutrients without the glucose roller coaster. Rolling in at number 5 is beef jerky. Sold as lean protein and energy on the go, jerky seems like the perfect fuel. It's savory, chewy, and dense. You expect strength in every bite. But hidden inside those strips is a sodium overload. A single 1-ounce serving can carry 500 to 700 milligrams of sodium. For older adults who should be limiting their daily intake to 1,500 to 2,300 milligrams, that's a massive slice of the day's allowance in just a few bites. Add it to the rest of your meals and it's easy to tip into dangerous territory. The result is higher blood pressure, fluid retention, and real strain on the kidneys and heart. Preservation adds another layer of concern. Many jerky products use nitrates or nitrites or curing agents naturally rich in nitrates to preserve color and prevent bacterial growth. While effective at keeping the products safe on the shelf, these additives have been linked by the International Agency for Research on Cancer and other health organizations to an increased risk of colorectal cancer when consumed regularly. That doesn't mean an occasional piece of jerky is catastrophic, but for seniors who want to lower their cancer risk or reduce inflammation, jerky is best treated as a rare indulgence, not a daily snack. There are also real-world problems with storage and handling. Local inspections have uncovered jerky being kept in less than ideal conditions, too much humidity, improper temperatures that allow mold or bacterial issues to develop. Because jerky is preserved, those issues don't always show right away, but for vulnerable older adults, consuming contaminated meat could be dangerous. Jerky may sell itself as strong and lean, but the salt math, chemical preservatives, and storage risks tell a different story. It's not the reliable protein boost it pretends to be. For anyone managing heart health, blood pressure, or kidney function, jerky is best left as an occasional treat, not a go-to snack. If jerky has become your go-to snack, it is time to take a closer look at the fine print. Choosing low-sodium nitrate-free brands and keeping portions very small is the only safe way to enjoy it. That convenient bag of protein can be deceiving. For many older adults, the sodium content alone is enough to push blood pressure higher or leave ankles swollen by the end of the day. A single bag can quietly deliver more salt than your entire body needs in 24 hours. Jerky is portable and tasty, but it is not reliable protection for your heart or kidney health. Treat it like an occasional indulgence, not a daily habit. Moving to number 4 on our list, trail mix often shows up as the classic healthy snack. Nuts, dried fruits, maybe a few seeds, all packaged to look natural and energizing. But the truth is in the mix. Many varieties include salted nuts, sugar-coated candies, sulfite-treated dried fruit, or even chocolate pieces that completely undo the health claims. One handful can bring a double hit: high sodium from roasted salted nuts and a sugar surge from glazed fruit. For seniors on medication for blood pressure or diabetes, that combination can be dangerous. Blood pressure rises while blood sugar spikes, creating stress in two directions at once. The risks go beyond salt and sugar. Trail mix has a history of recalls for salmonella and other contaminants. Bulk bins at grocery stores where mixes are scooped have been cited in health inspections for rodent droppings or cross-contamination. Public health warnings prove this is not just theory. For older adults with weaker immune systems, eating a contaminated batch could cause severe illness. Even when not contaminated, Storage in bulk bins exposes the mix to humidity, causing sugar to clump and mold to grow. Some dried fruits are preserved with sulfites, which can trigger asthma or allergic reactions, particularly dangerous for older adults with respiratory conditions. The safer approach is simple. Buy sealed retail packages from trusted brands. Keep them closed tightly after use. Skip the bulk bin scoops no matter how convenient they look. What appears to be natural energy can quickly turn into a health setback. At number 3, we find diet soda, the fizzy drink that promises 0 calories and guilt-free refreshment. On paper, it seems perfect, especially for those watching sugar intake. The first sip is crisp, the sweetness feels light, and there is no immediate crash. That is the promise. The reality is very different. Artificial sweeteners like aspartame sucralose and acesulfame K are not harmless replacements. Large scientific studies have linked regular consumption of artificially sweetened drinks with increased risks of stroke, heart disease, and metabolic problems. One major review found that people who frequently drank diet sodas faced higher rates of cerebrovascular events. Other long-term studies reported greater chances of developing metabolic syndrome and type 2 diabetes among daily diet soda drinkers. For people over 50 who already face higher risks for stroke and heart disease, these connections matter. The fizz and the sweet taste disguise what is happening inside the body. Artificial sweeteners can alter appetite, disrupt gut bacteria, and interfere with blood sugar regulation. Over time, that no calorie can comes with a hidden bill paid and higher risks for some of the most serious health problems seniors face. One long-term study revealed something many people don't expect. Daily consumption of diet soda was tied to a significantly higher risk of developing metabolic syndrome. That's the cluster of health problems that includes high blood pressure, elevated blood sugar, and unhealthy cholesterol levels, all of which directly increase the chances of heart attack and stroke. For anyone already on blood pressure medication, managing diabetes, or carrying a history of heart disease, swapping sugar for artificial sweeteners may feel like a smart move, but research shows it doesn't actually lower risk the way people hope it does. The practical takeaway is clear. Cutting back is the safest choice. If you crave the fizz, reach for sparkling water with a squeeze of lemon or plain seltzer. These options give the same refreshing bite without introducing chemicals that studies have linked to vascular and metabolic harm. And remember, labels can be misleading. Just because something says 0 sugar or diet doesn't mean it's safe for people with heart conditions or certain medications. A no-sugar label can feel like a quick win, but in reality it might carry a long-term cost to your blood vessels that you simply can't afford. Now at number 2 on the list, let's look at packaged cheese slices, the single-wrap squares that promise convenience, a smooth melt, and that creamy texture for a sandwich. For many older adults, that convenience hides 2 serious problems: high sodium and phosphate additives that put stress on kidneys and bones. The taste and consistency are what sell the product, but the real story is in the ingredient list. Most of these slices aren't actually cheese at all. They're cheese products made with stabilizers, emulsifiers, and phosphates. Phosphates are absorbed almost completely by the body, and when intake is high, studies have linked them to vascular damage and even accelerated aging. For people with chronic kidney disease or even mildly reduced kidney function, which becomes more common with age, phosphorus becomes a direct danger because the kidneys can't clear it effectively. And then comes the sodium problem. One slice can contain between 250 and 350 milligrams of sodium. Stack a couple of slices on a sandwich, add soup or crackers, and suddenly your entire day's sodium budget is gone. For anyone managing blood pressure or taking diuretics, that can mean spikes in pressure fluid retention or dizziness. Nutrition guidance for kidney health consistently flags highly processed cheeses as items to avoid, specifically because of their sodium and phosphate content. What seems like a simple wrapped square can be a hidden health threat. Finally, at number 1, we come to yogurt-covered raisins. At first glance, the package is convincing. Fruit plus dairy equals healthy, or at least that's the promise. But for older adults, this message can be dangerously misleading. The first bite feels innocent enough: chewy, raisin-tangy sweet coating, easy to pop into your mouth. The betrayal, however, runs much deeper. Many yogurt-coated snacks look innocent, but the truth is far less healthy. What's marketed as yogurt coating is often just sugar palm oil in a flavored candy shell with very little real yogurt involved. That means a big sugar surge packed into a small serving. For someone with diabetes or for older adults who are insulin sensitive, that quick spike can push blood glucose into dangerous territory. Consumer testing and class action lawsuits have even described some coatings as closer to candy than dairy, and labels have been criticized for overstating any nutritional benefit. The risks don't stop at sugar. Yogurt-covered raisins and similar snacks have been the subject of multiple safety recalls. The FDA has issued recall notices for contamination issues including salmonella and undeclared allergens. Public health alerts emphasize that older adults and people with weakened immune systems face a much higher risk of severe outcomes from salmonella infections. That makes this snack more than a sugar problem. It is a real food safety concern for vulnerable eaters. A safer approach is simple. If you enjoy raisins, buy plain packaged ones without coatings. Add them to plain Greek yogurt or cottage cheese at home. This way you control the sweetness and avoid unnecessary palm oil, sugar, and additives. And if you ever do buy prepackaged coated snacks, make sure to check recall lists. Older immune systems don't fight off foodborne infections the same way younger bodies do, and the consequences can be serious. Yogurt-covered raisins may look like a healthy choice, but when the coating is candy and the supply chain has a history of contamination, it's double trouble. Now let's turn to snacks that actually support health instead of undermining it. The first safe option is unsalted almonds. A simple handful can do far more good than any sugar-coated treat, and it won't throw off your blood pressure plan. Pop one almond into your mouth and you get the clean snap of the shell and that warm, slightly bitter almond flavor. It's a natural crunch that satisfies you faster and steadier than a candy bar ever could. A 1-ounce serving, about a small handful, provides around 6 grams of protein, several grams of fiber, and a healthy dose of fats that help keep blood sugar steady after a meal. For people over 50, that's especially important. Steadier blood sugar means better energy balance and fewer complications with medication stability. The contrast in trust is striking. Bags of flavored or honey-roasted nuts advertise natural energy, but many are coated with salt, sugar, and oil. Just one handful of those can carry as much sodium or sugar as a packaged cookie. Unsalted almonds skip the tricks. You get the nutrients without the sodium that pushes blood pressure higher or the sugar that spikes glucose. They also bring important minerals like magnesium and vitamin E, both of which support healthy blood pressure and cell protection. Because they're portable and shelf-stable, almonds beat most packaged snacks that hide additives and excess salt. A measured portion in the afternoon not only helps with satiety but also prevents overeating later, which benefits both weight management and blood pressure control. There are cautions, of course. Almonds are calorie-dense, so portion control matters. But when eaten in moderation, they provide steady protein and healthy fats that strengthen muscle and support heart health. If you are watching your weight, almonds work best when kept to a measured handful, not an endless bag. They are calorie-dense, so portion control is key. For those living with advanced kidney disease, almonds contain phosphorus and potassium, which means limits may be necessary. It is always wise to check with your doctor or dietitian about the right amount for your body. When buying almonds, choose reputable brands and store them in a cool, dry place. Poorly stored nuts can develop mold or rancid oils, reducing both their flavor and their nutritional value. For anyone who finds nuts hard to digest, soaking or lightly roasting unsalted almonds can make them gentler on the stomach. A single handful of plain almonds steadies blood sugar, keeps hunger at bay, and does it without swelling ankles the way salty chips often do. They are the no-nonsense snack nutrients without the sodium or sugar trap. Treat each serving like gold, and the payoff will be steady energy and fewer health surprises throughout the day. The other truly safe snack on this list is plain Greek yogurt. Thick, tangy, and satisfying, it works like a mini-meal, especially for older adults. One spoonful delivers that dense, creamy texture tang first, and then a clean dairy finish. A single serving often packs well over 15 grams of protein, which helps preserve muscle mass and supports recovery after activity. It also provides calcium and live probiotic cultures that support digestion. For those over 50, that combination is invaluable. Stronger bones and a healthier gut are key to long-term wellness. What makes plain Greek yogurt stand out is how it avoids the betrayal found in many flavored yogurts. Those fruit-on-the-bottom cups or brightly labeled low-fat varieties often sneak in spoonfuls of sugar, turning them into dessert disguised as health food. Plain Greek yogurt, on the other hand, gives you a clean base. You control the sweetness. Add fresh berries, a drizzle of honey, or a few chopped almonds, and you create flavor and texture without hidden sugar bombs. This choice is especially powerful for seniors. The protein supports muscle balance, lowering the risk of falls. The calcium and protein together strengthen bones. Probiotic cultures support nutrient absorption, digestion, and immune health. For people on multiple medications, plain Greek yogurt offers predictable stability. It won't spike glucose or sodium levels unexpectedly. A few cautions make the choice even smarter. Full fat versus low fat is a matter of overall diet and medical needs. Both can be healthy when chosen with care. For those with lactose intolerance, many Greek yogurts labeled lactose-free are easier to tolerate, and even traditional styles often cause fewer issues because of their processing. Like almonds, dairy also contains phosphorus and potassium, so anyone with kidney disease should confirm safe amounts with their doctor. Always read the label carefully. A plain tub with a long ingredient list often hides thickeners or added sugars. The best option is minimal ingredients and live-active cultures. There are countless ways to enjoy it. Top with fruit, a spoonful of nut butter, or a sprinkle of oats for a quick breakfast. Use it as a dip for raw vegetables instead of heavy dressings. Or keep it simple with just a bowl of plain yogurt and a few almonds on top. The key is to keep it plain and top it smart. Unlike many so-called healthy snacks that disguise sugar or sodium, plain Greek yogurt offers steady energy, strong bones, and digestive support. It is one of the rare options you can truly trust. Day after day, it delivers benefits without hidden risks. It is the kind of snack that proves eating well does not have to be complicated. When you choose plain Greek yogurt and unsalted almonds, you are making decisions that protect your health in ways that flashy packaging and sweet coatings never will.